Hey there, it's Katie from Suburban Gardening Couple, and thanks to a couple of our followers on Instagram, there was enough interest, it seemed like, in a fall garden tour. We are still in the midst of cleanup, as you can see behind me. We need to clean up this bed on the side of the house here, but wanted to just show you guys everything that's going on in our yard. And I post a lot more to Instagram, so if you want to see like more updates and photos and things like that, you can follow us over on Instagram at suburban_gardening_couple. So I'm gonna flip the camera around and show you off our entire yard. All right, so we are on the right side of our house, and this bed was actually the first bed that we started with re-landscaping back in May. So all of the plants in this bed, with the exception of the shrub that we don't think is doing too well, but the hostas, the lungwort, and all the daylilies either were here on the property and or we dug up from Matt's parents' yard. So you can see we need to do a lot of fall leaf raking. Probably gonna replace this. This was really the only living shrub on our entire property when we moved in. It was actually in a different spot that we relocated here, but not really thinking it's doing too hot, so that's probably going to go come spring, summer next year. But just need to trim back the daylilies. So this whole bed right here is all just daylilies and hostas. Yeah, there's a lot of leaf mess, but what are you going to do? You can't win with the leaves, so but just goes along all the side here. What we think we want to do is maybe add in some more like evergreens and stuff, maybe in the back, and probably I really want some grasses and stuff over here. This gets like part sun, part shade in the afternoon. So this is the side bed. And then you can see when we come in this side of our house, this is all new fencing that we had replaced. So the fence originally kind of was, when there's one of our dogs, right where this post was. So we actually moved it forward. This is all new fencing. And then I'll throw up a picture if I can find one when we moved in. That, you know, there was the old fence, and then this area all here was all just dirt, nothing to see. So we actually transplanted some sod from a different area in our yard and filled it in all with grass. So, and then you come around the corner here, in this area is our perennial bed that eventually I would like to have it be a like cottage style garden. So we have a flagstone path that is just, that's roughed in. We did not get around to installing it more permanently yet, because what we want to do is build a arbor right here along the side of this bed for more privacy, and then eventually also some North Pole arborvitaes along this fence here. But for now, in this bed for the summer, we did some clumps of like zinnias that will need to be cleaned up, and I can show you, I'll interject a fun little video of a tool that we bought today. So it's 6:45 and Matt is so excited about his new toy. Well, he says it's my toy, but
so it'll be so much easier for you to clean up for me.
So what is that tool you have there in your hand?
The Ryobi multi-gardening tool. So let me switch out the attachments. Show you. And this is the shrubber.
So the shear you use first, and that's the shrubber.
Yeah. So this is if you were actually taking down shrubs.
But this little area is a, right now it just has like we bought a packet of like annual seeds that actually are still hanging on through all the frost. So a lot of the bachelor buttons are still around. I forget what this yellow flower was, but lots of bachelor buttons. There was some coreopsis in here. And then all of our pots that are right there were milkweed and yeah, I think it was different types of milkweed. And we did also have some pots buried in here that had plumeria in them. Those are now living inside. So and I'm trying to do my best to respect our neighbor's privacy, but you can see there's our neighbor, little girl jumping on the trampoline. So, but some of these pots will need to be sunk in the ground. Not sure of the health yet of these, but we're gonna try and save them. So we've got two hydrangeas, another type of hydrangea, and then I think all of these 5 pots here will be just dumped out in our back garden area. So like I said, we need to clean up the zinnias, and then parsley still going pretty strong, and we had some tomatoes up here too, so we have cleaned those up, and those will be dumped out as well. All right, and wanted to take you to the back portion of our yard now and show you, this is our shed. This is newly installed, and it has been like seriously the best thing ever. We had a knockout rose in a pot that was transplanted back here, and then some other perennials that, you know, are just temporarily in the ground here, because the eventual plan is going to be to enlarge this whole bed over here, and then do a bed on the side of it so that it looks like the shed just blends into the landscape. And my other half in the shed, hiding from doing work, and I think he is he's working on cleaning up the vegetable garden still. So
the great experiment of 2020 is done.
What was that great experiment?
Hay bales. So.
And what was the best thing about them and the worst thing about them?
Didn't produce as big of plants, but they still produced pretty good amount of fruit.
Yeah.
So it was a fun thing to try. So we'll definitely be doing it in a smaller scale, and I'll maybe even perfect it. So you just need to find something that doesn't have slow release nitrogen fertilizer to start them up.
Gotcha.
Or timed release is the technical term, because I didn't use slow like they told me to.
Oh, okay. So continuing on. So we already grew out of the shed that we had installed this year. So there is what I have been affectionately calling the baby shed. So this is full of just, you know, equipment, tomato cages, garden seat, the seed spreader or whatever, wheelbarrow, materials for another project, outdoor project. My dog wants to be in here. Benny, what are you doing? Come on. And then this big expansive area that'll eventually, hopefully next spring, come our orchard. So we're really excited about that. And then if you come around the back of the shed here, this is where our hay bale garden was. So that is all leftover sod So we were planning to make this a lot larger than what it was. And I think I have some other videos on our IGTV, so you can look up those if you want to see what our original plans were. But all I'm really going to share about this was that, like Matt said, it kind of produced, but not as much as we would have liked. So the hay bales are all going to be recycled for filling in our future raised bed garden. So Matt's taken down all of the T-posts that we'll actually recycle for our cattle panel trellises. And then this bed is going to expand greatly next year for some major square foot gardening. So time to clean it all up and put it to bed. All right, so then as we finish with the hay bale garden, you can see there's our above ground pool that's closed. And then you come around this way, and this is the back view of our yard. I'm standing right next to our shed. And then there's still more space behind me of the back fence. That's a 6-foot fence, that's a 4-foot fence. So this is the back view of our yard. It's quite far. So, and there goes Benny, charging out in the yard. Everybody's outside cleaning up, and Matt's gonna dump out one of our pots that we cleaned out yesterday that had the elephant ears.
No, this is the basil.
Oh, the basil, as he says. But yes, we did clean up our elephant ears, bulbs, and I think they're right inside the door here. And our some of our canna bulbs. And all the cannas were from seed. So we cleaned them up, and then we need to cure them up in our plant room. This is by far probably one of our favorite spots for this year. Already wanting to make it bigger for next year, but this is we're calling it our water bowl garden. So this is a very old water bowl from Aquascape. And then we've got the little fountain in there. We definitely still need to clean this up, but did some cleanup on this bed. Got some blanket flowers in there still that are kind of going, some Dusty Miller. I just cut down the coneflower, the Cheyenne Spirit coneflower, and then we've got some maiden grass, and then we also cut down, I don't know if you can even see the stalks. Right there we had some hardy hibiscus. There was like 3 of them. And then we've got a cornflower in here as well. But look at this, so pretty. It's changing to that dark red fall color, and I love the plumes on here. What you doing, girl? This is Gracie. But lots of cleanup, and then this is our zinnia bed that will need to be cleaned up. We did have some pots here. I'll see if I can throw in a photo of some really cool like Rex begonias, and then we had cannas in the pot. We had in the larger pot we had some mandevilla. We had some we threw some wandering Jew in there. I think there was something else in there too, like was a red kind of tropical plant. I forget the name of it, but. And then we go around here to the side yard. This is where our rain barrel area is. So they're all closed down for the season, but they all are hooked together in sync. So they fill all together at the same time. Like, it's not like one fills and then goes to the next one. Like, they all level fill at the same time. This whole area already got cleaned up. Everything in here was, except for where the stakes are, there's some peony tubers that we took from Matt's parents' yard, my grandma's old yard in Wisconsin. But those big stalks, those were hardy hibiscus that we started from seed. The cannas bulbs are right there that we cut down already, and we covered it up with mulch. We are not going to dig them up and see what happens, because this whole area of our yard is all full sun. And it just, we're thinking that we did this at our old house, that with this much sun it'll just create a microclimate that the bulbs will be okay. If they're not, no big deal, because we grew them from seed, so obviously we know we can grow cannas from seed, and if we need more we can always grow more. So, but that's all cleaned up. But I wanted to give you a view of this full area and just share some quick future plans. So I think I had shared this in an IGTV video, but all along this area I did want blueberry and raspberry bushes, but I have since changed my mind and want to make this more of a really, not formal, but perennials and 4-season interest and all that kind of stuff. So I actually got a lot of inspiration from, and it's not even really close to what hers looks like, but Impatient Gardener's circle garden. I don't know, I guess more the shape of it gave me the idea. So what I want to do is actually make this bed more like an oval on either side of the fence, and then we want to have like an arbor kind of right here, and really fill that in. And as you've seen already, these short fences don't leave us much privacy in the middle of suburbia, so more North Pole arborvitaes along this whole fence here, because we definitely just need some more privacy. Not that we don't like our neighbors, but it just would be nice. And then this whole fence you'll see is all new. So originally it was, you can kind of see sort of a divot in the grass. Originally the fence was right here. So we, could have, I guess, gardened on this side, but we really wanted to just enclose the whole backyard, and make it part of the backyard. So it's more the side yard, but it really is nice. It gave us a lot of extra space, and the fence here was in poor shape anyways and needed to be repaired, and we did some patch work where there was just like no grass growing and just weeds, and we planted some sod, but now with my plans it's gonna get ripped out. So Matt's like, why did we even plant the sod? Whoops. But oh well, it'll add some nutrients to the soil. And then we're gonna finish in the front yard, and that'll be it. So we go through the fence here, and we come back around. We did have a hose splitter on that faucet so that we can have a hose in the front of the fence and a hose in the back of the fence. But this whole bed we did a ton of work in. So we've got some plum pudding heuchera and some northern exposure heuchera. We had really cut back the salvia. I had two types in here. That one was a mounding, one is an upright. I realize I'm not really a fan of the mounding one, at least in these front beds. So those are actually going to be transplanted to the backyard when we redo those beds. I've got my Sub-Zero pansies in here. And then we've got a ornamental weeping cherry tree. We were looking for a dwarf variety, but this one is not. But hopefully we think it'll be fine, and we can always prune it a little bit. And then we've got Invincibelle Wee White hydrangeas, and then those are the Chicagoland variety of boxwoods. I do not want my plants to get much taller than really, not even really the bottom of that rocking chair. I want to be able to see the display on my porch, so we looked for a lot of low growing, you know, not as big hydrangeas and boxwoods, and keep them a little more shaped. But I didn't want to do any pruning or shaping because these are very newly planted and still establishing themselves, so just letting them establish their root system. And then this is the side bed. So we've got some climbing roses back there. We've got some brilliant sedum, more of the heuchera. And then we'll continue on with probably another heuchera right here, another one of the northern exposure. Some sort of display here, maybe one of those pots that kind of tips over and the flowers spill out. And then to tie together the bed in this area with the boxwoods, we will probably plant another boxwood here, and then another one over there to replace that one. So I don't know if we'll do the same variety that we have planted or something like it's a little bit larger, or maybe one that's more cone shaped. Not quite sure yet, but that's kind of the plan. And then all of our lovely followers on Instagram, we love all you guys, are making us super jealous, well, at least me, of the bulbs. And I really wasn't going to do any bulbs, quite honestly, because, you know, we're going to be adding probably more perennials in here next year, kind of moving the salvia around. So I was like, do I want to even plant bulbs in here and be messing with that? But you know what? Things were on sale and I couldn't help myself. So need to do some bulb planting today. So I've got a bunch of daffodils. A lot of these we bought from Lowe's, Home Depot, and Menards. So we did not get our stuff together to order from any online bulb provider. So, but I've got some of these Ice Follies, some Early Bride. I really had my heart set on the daffodils that had the pink center. They had some at Lowe's, but they were all gone. And then these were from Menards, the mixed daffodil. And then no, those were from Home Depot. Yeah. And then Darwin hybrid mixed. Got those. There was no bulb tone, there was no biotone, so I'm hoping that that will be sufficient. And these, I'm gonna try an experiment this year with planting them in some containers for the porch. So I thought these would be really pretty for some porch containers. And then I wasn't too thrilled about these, but Matt was. They were cheap. They were, I think, Menards, I think they were $10. Or maybe they were even less, I don't know. But he was like, oh, they're so fun. The fringed and the lily, just with the shape. And then I really love these little sweet looking crocuses. So I think the crocus are all gonna go underneath the weeping cherry tree. But that is about all for our fall garden tour. So
Thanks for watching. Have a great day.
bye everyone. And I forgot to add in, if you really enjoyed this video, let us know by liking or commenting, and show your support by subscribing to our channel. We would really appreciate it. Happy gardening. Bye. Gracie, do you not like this selfie stick? She does not a fan. Hey. Not a fan of the selfie stick.